Why do I hold XRP? Because Ripple's the chosen one to lead the new global digital payment system, and they use XRP. In 2013, the Federal Reserve began looking for faster payments options. 2 years later, an action plan was born and a federal payments task force was created. It included one company focused on crypto, Ripple. In 2014, the World Bank and Better Than Cash Alliance, which includes the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Clinton Global Initiative, and the governments of 32 countries, put out a report called The Opportunities of Digitizing Payments. 1 year later, the Better Than Cash Alliance featured one crypto company on their website, Ripple. Today, Better Than Cash Alliance and all other UN initiatives are focused on a single agenda, the Sustainable Development Goals for 2030. You can see the SDGs logo on Bill Gates' lapel, world-leading companies, the Better Than Cash Alliance website, and on the UN's official exchange, Exchange. What crypto is Exchange officially utilizing for their carbon credit solution? XRP. The world will move to a new international standard for exchanging electronic messages between financial institutions by 2025 called ISO 20022. Who was the first ISO 20022 member focused on distributed ledger technology? Ripple. Who's partnered with over 300 financial institutions, including Bank of America, American Express, PNC, Santander, SBI, HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of England, India, Singapore, Scotland, Australia, and Indonesia, the largest banks in Japan, Canada, Egypt, the Middle East, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Morocco, Bhutan, South Korea, Brazil, and Latin America? Ripple. Who is a former employee overseeing the Federal Reserve? Ripple. A former employee overseeing the world's largest asset manager, BlackRock's digital asset division? Ripple. Leading Australia's CBDC effort? Ripple. Who hired a former Treasury of the United States? Ripple. Two former Federal Reserve attorneys to their board? Ripple. Two former Clinton and Obama advisors? Former Minister of Defense and Economics of Germany? Former business director at Swift? Former Swift board member? Former CFO of PayPal? Former head of the DTCC? Former chief business officer at Uber? Former VP of Amazon and former SEC chair on their legal team? Ripple. Who's a member of the Digital Pound Foundation, Digital Dollar Project, Digital Euro Association, Mojaloop, IMF's high-level advisory board on fintech, Hyperledger Blockchain Consortium, Open Payments Coalition, Faster Payments Council, Global Payments Steering Group, Cross-Border Working Group, International Association for Trusted Blockchain Applications, Crypto Climate Accord, University Blockchain Initiative, World Wide Web Consortium, and a featured partner of the World Economic Forum with 3 members of their team directly listed on the WF website? Ripple.
We are not far away from greatness, okay? We are not far away from the next hyperbolic phase. So the people that are in still from last bull run, congrats to you, you are a fucking warrior. If you came into this bull run now, you are blessed, okay? So don't give up. I mean, it's one of the most important things to understand that we basically did the same thing all over again, okay? So we came from back low here. I'm just going quick over it, okay? So we came from back below here. We had our first bull run top. We had our first correction. We had our second lower high. And then we had a long base before we had the huge pump. And here basically we did the same. Just here it was more time compressed, okay? Because there was less liquidity. Nobody knew about it. It was a new thing, etc. So we did the same thing. We created a high. We created the high. We did the first low, okay, which we created also in this cycle. Then we had the lower high. This was still, a 10x, So here we had the same pump as we did here. Then we came back down again and we had the reaccumulation phase, which took a half eternity. I know, but we are right at this moment. We are somewhere here. If it's gonna pump like that, I don't know. Is it possible? Obviously it is. Let's see what will happen, okay? So this is the macro chart. This has nothing to do what happened yesterday, but just to show you that we basically, what we did over this, how long how long was it until now? 2,240 days. Nice. They got everything they wanted. So from the high, we are 1,000 days away from the last all-time high. Last high we did, local high. So yeah, the second thing which gives me confidence to say that it is high likely that this time we're going to break the high is just because we have this trend line here. Everybody talks about this trend line, okay? It's not just me. But in fact, it is, if it's playing out, it will happen, okay? You can do nothing about it. It will just happen. Because when it pumped here, the first 4,000%, Brad Garlinghouse on the media wasn't even surprised, you know. It was just like, yeah, we went up 4,800% in the last 2 weeks because of this. And the same will happen. We will pump extremely high, and then they will come out and say, yeah, as you know, we had 3 years of lawsuit. Now we are the only ones regulated, let's say, crypto company in the US. We have all this clarity. We have all these 400 banks already integrated our software. And basically now these institutions know that they are allowed to push the button. Nothing else than that. So once we break this, we're going to have to search, okay? How can we break this? We just need to break the high we created when we had the lawsuit end, or the first time. We pumped 100% in a day. So once we break this high, we are gone, okay? We are gone. If you didn't buy once we break this, it's just too late, you know? Then you need to watch how other people get rich. So, but let's go closer into the chart to see what XRP really did. Most of the people don't really understand charts, so they don't know what fair value gaps are, they don't know what imbalances and all that stuff is, displacements in the market. So XRP is a champion in closing fair value gaps, okay? It's just amazing how it does close always the gaps. For example, we had a huge gap here, obviously, and we completely closed that gap, okay? We had gaps here, and people said, but why are we correcting that low? We closed the gap, okay? Same thing here. Once we get up, we create an imbalance back below here. What did we do? We closed the gap. Now we had here break of structure to the upside. Now, most likely, what did it do? It closed the gap. Okay. Here on the bottom, you cannot see a displacement anymore. There is just this gap that already got closed, and we have the order block that is going until here. So most likely, it will react around this zone trying to break this high. If we're going to break, I don't know. When it happens, we will go to the upside quick, okay? So what is very interesting with XRP at this current moment is if you realize the tops it created, it is all just liquidity, okay? Liquidity are these wicks. So every single high XRP created is liquidity. Liquidity, 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 everywhere, liquidity, liquidity, liquidity. No chart does this as XRP does. So money laying everywhere here, okay? Liquidity, 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 everywhere. And this is just last bull run. Here, when you go into the weekly, liquidity on the highs. So it looks like this was all orchestrated, okay? Like everything we went through was planned. The price suppression, because there were people very, very aware in the space that told me back then, bro, it's too heavy, and the majority of the big bag holders are dumping to maintain the price to reaccumulate more. And it is exactly what happened. So the guy was right. The guy was wrong when it came to where the price would go. I told people all the price movements, and in this particular moment where the SEC dump came, I accumulated the most XRP, bought them once back here, bought them back at 35 cents, sold them back at 60 cents, bought them back at 30 cents, and then I never touched them again because I tripled the amount I actually held in the beginning. So that is also why I didn't really to reaccumulate a lot of XRP, because I actually, outperformed what I really believed I could even own, you know. So for now, there is just one single imbalance still open in the charts. And if you look at other, and that's this one, sorry. So this is the only displacement we have in the market, which is at, let's say, 40 cents straight. So that is the worst case scenario for me if, let's say, Bitcoin goes to the absolute gulag, okay? But when you look at I show you all the imbalances Bitcoin created, and this was mainly to outprice retail, okay? So all these zones here are imbalances that never got closed. And then you realize that maybe the market is manipulated. So these are all the displacements in Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin does not close this displacement, why should XRP close the displacement? You know, this is how I see it. If we come down and you are interested in buying Bitcoin, I'm not a Bitcoin fan. Everyone knows it that watches me for some time. I don't really like Bitcoin. And I can make a video about it, why, but for me it's just not working, and it is not what it once was. And maybe it's also a fork network that isn't even the original code anymore. So yeah, what I did talk in my last lives was this liquidity grab. I said to people, because in the weekly we closed the imbalance, and I said to people, if this imbalance holds, we're gonna most likely take out that liquidity here. Okay, come on. So as you see here, we had that imbalance here back at, let's say, 33 to 30K. But when we came up here and we had this, what was it, from 4th of December until the breakout was on February 2024. So 2 months. 2 months of sideways action. And we created, the wick you can see here was the ETF approval. So here was the fake news of the ETF. And here was the real pump. And then we crashed back down. Okay. But I said to people, if we do not break, or if we hold that imbalance here, we're gonna most likely try, because this was just to create liquidity to the downside, and we had some liquidity already to the upside. So now they just created an imbalance, so it's a minority of players that pumped the price higher again, most likely the ETF buyers, and now the liquidity got grabbed to the upside. So now is one of the last imbalances we have here on the chart, and this one. But I believe the last one will not be the one that will catapult us back to these levels. I believe that there is a big chance that it is this one. Okay, the red one I drew it in here. Why? Because this level here was a very, very, very important high, because it was the last high before we capitalized the price. And after this high was an imbalance, which we broke here now. And then I said, most likely because there is a lot of liquidity, we will try to go into that imbalance. If we close strong above that, there is a high likely chance we're gonna go to all-time high. But don't try to hunt the markets. Don't try to, I don't know how to say it, but I made a video 7 days ago about Ethereum, and the title says, if you missed the if you missed the Bitcoin pump, watch this. Back then, we were here 7 days ago. And what did I tell people? I said that when you compare these two charts, let's say we take Bitcoin here. So this was the old levels that this is the chart I did the analyze on last time. So let's go into the daily. Now even maybe weekly is better, and weekly here. So I said, if you missed the Bitcoin pump, there is a huge opportunity. Look, I have still even the analyze, I didn't change nothing on it. And I said that if Ethereum is going to catch up to the price action of Bitcoin, that was this high here I explained. So this high here is the same high than here in red. But Bitcoin already did the move through that. 7 days ago, we were at a price of 2,500, let's say. So there was a 40 to 45% move just to catch up on Bitcoin dominance, you know? If you would have realized this, look, obviously now everybody knows, oh, Ethereum is pumping, but you didn't saw it coming. And this is why I come here, you know? To show you the evidence of why it can do it. Like Ethereum did not launch something new. There is no major news that came out. It's just technicals. It's just like people say, oh no, Bitcoin is already so high, it's dangerous to buy it right now, but Ethereum is still lower. And that's the only reason it tries to catch up right now, okay? So still, a pullback in Ethereum, let's say an interesting moment to reconsider maybe buying with the targets here at, let's say, 3,500. One sec. I really like that imbalance here, this one. It's beautiful. If not this one, we have also displacement here, but we need 3 days for it to close. So in the daily, I would say that imbalance here is confluences with this old high. So let's say 2,691 would be maybe a potential. Let's say it fails here, it comes back down, boom, 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 and then tries to catch up on Bitcoin, okay? But let's go back to XRP, because just in a way, in an investor perspective, not someone that catches money, someone that has the money and wants to make a great bet, a great investment, is looking at market cap. And he's telling himself, okay, Bitcoin is a store of value, having a market cap of $1 trillion. What can it actually do? It is a store of value, and if you are willing to use it as a payment or peer-to-peer cash, do it. It's just not the best, you know? But it already has a $1 trillion in market cap. Let's go to Ethereum, $350 billion in market cap. What can it do better than Bitcoin? Smart contracts. That's all. So, and it's a little bit, it has a better security mechanism. Then, what is next? BNB, I don't even want to talk about. Solana. Solana crashed with the FTX, but magically pumped because they have smart contracts and you have no gas fees to pay. So for people that invest like a few bucks or a few $100, it's interesting to buy on Solana smart contracts because it's cheaper. But cheaper doesn't really mean better, you know? It's better for those who buy and sell, does not mean it's better tech, because in last bull run, people that were not present back then don't know that the network failed 4 times. The Solana network broke down 4 times, okay, when liquidity got high. So every project looks great when there's no liquidity. But when liquidity and momentum comes, this is where the truth comes out, okay? So just saying, XRP is now not even a 30 billion market cap, which it is since 5 years. Since 5 years, we are at 30 billion market cap on average. So just thinking about the opportunity, the utility it has, and all the stuff you all know about XRP, and it still just has a 30 billion market cap, and Ethereum has 300 billion. So do you believe that XRP could hit this 300 billion in market cap one day? If yes, I mean, this is a lot more interesting to buy. It's a lot less heavy, okay? It's a lot less heavy, and investment-wise, you want to find something that will change the world and is not too heavy yet, okay? which does not mean investing in Ethereum is not going to be lucrative. I personally believe we're going to see a 9 to 20k Ethereum price because, and this is a secret I will give to you, the only way we can go into hyperbolic phase this time is with a narrative, and this narrative will be the Ethereum ETF launch. And in my opinion, if it confluences with the timeline and the ETF will be launched around June to October, November 2025, it will be the top. Okay, so it will be the buy the rumor, sell the news event. People FOMO in the market because they speculate on an ETF approval on Ethereum. But once it happens, I believe it will be the top, but it's a perfect catalyst for this bull run. Okay. I have never understood. Do you think XRP skipped it? No, I am just an investor, not a trader using leverage. So to make money on this bull run, I will literally have to sell my bags. Do you think it's risky letting go of XRP to rebuy after a pullback? Which pullback? At the end of the bull run. I can assure you that this bull run I will sell everything because I know the markets, and if the timeline is over, I will just, even if it's just a 50-60% dump, but I mean, if it reaches my targets, I will most likely sell all my crypto I own this time, because last time I didn't took enough profits. It was very hard to survive, and I will not do that again. I learned from my mistakes. Okay, so don't try to get rich quick. Try to play the game. It is a marathon, not a sprint. If you enjoy this live, please like and subscribe. Maybe leave a comment on something you want me to cover. And if you don't have further questions, I would say I will be back live in the next days. I will re-listen my live and try to find some important information and re-upload it in a new video on a shorter version. So that said, if there is no new question coming in, I will wrap this up. And I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope the questions people asked got answered, and you have a clearer mind on what to do in the future.